It's getting chilly outside. That can only mean one thing to a scuba diver. Time to bust out the dry suit. Welcome back to Tampa Bay Diving. My name is Blake and I'm a professional recreational scuba diving instructor and digital content creator. I'd like to welcome you to the channel. If you're new, consider diving down, hitting that subscribe button and the dive bell because I make these videos with the sole purpose of helping you improve your dives. A dry suit is a big investment, so we wanted to help you out by kind of giving you advice to address all the ins and outs of them before you spend your hard-earned money. But stick around till the end because I'm going to give you a bonus tip about an awesome product to improve your experience with your dry suit. Right, so let's start with the two basic types of dry suits. They are neoprene and trilaminate. Sometimes you may hear the latter being referred to as a membrane or shell. So which one is better? Well, that's not really the right question to ask. Instead, you should think of these as tools to do a job. If you had to get a nail in a board and were given a hammer and a screwdriver, you wouldn't really be saying which one is a better tool. They're both great tools, but there's one that's right for the job. So what's the difference between them? Well, neoprene tends to be a tougher, thicker suit. It's made up of multiple layers of compressed neoprene and can take more abuse if you're bumping into rocks or other obstacles. And because of its thickness, the suit itself is more insulated, taking away the need to wear layers of thick undergarments and/or heated vests. The downside to these is that because of the additional layers of neoprene, they're going to be heavier and you're going to need more weight to get down to become neutrally buoyant. Trilaminate suits are much thinner and made with lighter material. They don't really provide any additional considerations and are just used for keeping water out and air inside the suit. They're very lightweight and easier to repair. So which one should you get? Well, only you can answer that question because it's going to come down to what type of diving you are doing and personal preference. I myself am a recreational and technical diver and use a trilaminate suit. The only thing I'm going inside are wrecks. If I were cave diving and going to be squeezing into tight spaces, then I would probably invest in a neoprene dry suit. Now, that's not a definitive answer. There are divers in every category that dive both, and that's where personal preference comes into play. They come in two basic entry styles with either a front or a back zipper. The back zippers tend to run along the back of your shoulder line and have a downside of you more than likely needing assistance from a buddy to get in and out of. And if you've ever had to go to the bathroom after a dive, then you'll know that that can prove to be problematic. The front zipper style tends to run diagonally from your shoulder down to your waist. These are easier to get in and out of by yourself unless you have shoulder issues. Most metal zippers used in these are the same ones that NASA uses in their astronaut suits. These can be tough and do require continuous maintenance by applying zipper wax. To do this, you're just going to need to run your wax across the teeth of the zipper, and I would recommend doing this before and after each dive. Then you're going to open and close your zipper gently a few times to rub it in. Now, I can't stress this enough, not to forcibly open and close the zipper too hard because that is highly likely going to result in tears and breaks. Plastic zippers are much easier to open and close just like on your wetsuit. Some styles of dry suit have one or another style of zipper. Others, like mine, have both. As far as seals go, there are three options: neoprene, latex, or silicone. Neoprene seals, in my opinion, are too much of a pain to deal with rolling and trying to get a good seal. Latex, as long as you don't have an allergy, is okay, but silicone, in my opinion, is the best. Both latex and silicone are made of thin material. And keep in mind that if you're using latex, then it is going to stretch over time, so you might want to hold off on cutting your seals to fit until it's had time to do so. If you do need to cut your seals to fit, then my advice is to do so a little at a time and test until you get a good fit. Because if you cut too much, then you're going to have to throw them away and buy new ones. The silicone seals have more modular options and are easily replaceable if one breaks. You could have the option of replacing them with waterproof gloves. Some divers do complain of the fingers and hands getting a little too cold with certain gloves, as well as having limited dexterity, so try some out at your local dive shop before purchasing. Should you get a dry suit, they will come with integrated boots or socks. This question again comes down to personal preference. With boots that are built into the suit, eventually with use, they will wear down and you'll have to send your dry suit in for repair so that they can be replaced. If you have socks, then you're going to have to wear boots over them, such as the Ultimas that we featured up in this video up here, and I'll also include that video down in the description if you'd like to check out our footwear video after this one. I chose to have integrated boots because it's one less piece of gear that I have to remember to carry. Very rarely do I need my dry suit during the summer months down here in South Florida, so I'll send it off down for repairs then. Now, with most dry suits, you're going to have two valves on them. The one on your chest is typically for inflating, and the exhaust valve on your arm is for letting air escape. These vary by the manufacturers, so some may be bigger in diameter than others. As with most aspects, there are optional add-ons. The big one with dry suits is being a P valve, so that if need be, you can go number one without having the consequence of having to remain in it throughout your dive. Every single diver has soiled their wetsuit at one point. If you say you haven't, then you're lying. Once you get in that cold water, the urge to take a leak becomes stronger, and in a wetsuit, no one can tell. But in a dry suit, if you do that, then you're going to marinate in it, and it's not going to smell very good after the dive. And that's also going to require more time to clean and air out the interior of the dry suit. Large thigh pockets are the ultimate accessory to have on a dry suit. You can get along without them, but man, they will really make your life a whole lot easier. Most of them are rather large to accommodate your gear, such as a spare mask, light, weight, wet notes, reels, DSMBs, and other tools. Some will even have D-rings or bungee straps, so that if you have bolt snaps on your accessories, you can easily clip them off in the pocket and not have to worry about them falling out. Word of caution though, these pockets are 1000% absolutely not for putting lead weight inside of them. Weights are meant to be easily dumpable, and the pockets do sit lower on the thigh, so they might not always be accessible or in the right position. Undergarments are important to have in tri-laminate suits because the suit alone is not going to keep you warm and you'll need a little extra insulation. Bare, in my opinion, makes the best undergarments for dry suits. You can get them in either one or two pieces. One pieces are generally like a pair of coveralls, and two pieces are like wearing a shirt and pants. I generally prefer two-piece undergarments because I feel that they offer more flexibility and range of motion. I really don't like feeling limited in my movement. To me, it's just really uncomfortable. Undergarments are also designed to wick moisture away from your body. There are also heated vests you can purchase, which operate with a battery pack. I've dove with them and they're pretty awesome if the water is really cold. They do a great job of keeping your core temperature up. I wouldn't wear them down here in South Florida because to me the water just isn't that cold. That comes with the risk of overheating and getting really sweaty, but as you go further north, they really do increase your comfort. Most manufacturers have size charts from small all the way up to 4X, along with measurement charts for you to determine which one closely aligns with your body. However, the best way to go about this is to find a dive shop that really understands the manufacturer's sizing and takes your measurements for a custom fitted dry suit. Dry suits really are a personal piece of gear that needs to be as closely fitted to your body as much as possible. Closely fitted with a little bit of extra room is generally how they are meant to be fit. Dry suits are not relatively cheap, so it's something that you'll want to save for. You want the best fit, but more importantly, these can be deadly if they're not used properly or maintained. If I had to pick one piece of dive gear to tell my students to always buy new, then this would be it. With used dry suits, you really don't know how good of a condition they're in. Besides them probably not actually fitting you, you really can't be sure of how well they were maintained by the previous owner. Even if they had it serviced regularly, you don't know how they stored it and if there are any current underlying damage or integrity issues. So in essence, determine your dry suit type by the type of diving you're going to be doing and if you want a thicker, heavier material or lighter with undergarments. Save up and buy a new dry suit. Find a local dive shop with extensive knowledge on their supplier's dry suit and take measurements for a custom fitted. Oh, and get the one with pockets, you'll thank me later. Now it's time for the bonus tip that I promised you earlier in the video. And this one is related to getting the best seal possible. That prevents leaks and water from getting into your dry suit. A friend years ago turned me on to these products from Apollo called BioSeals, and I'll put a link down in the description. The most common cause of leaks isn't from tears or breaks in a dry suit, but stems from the simple flexing or movement of the wrist or neck that causes a break or separation in the seal from the diver's skin. So essentially, you move your wrist or your neck and a bone or a vein or a ligament causes a gap between your skin and the seal, allowing water in. Now, once or twice may not be a big deal, but you'd be surprised at how many times you move your neck and wrist throughout a dive. Each one of these will allow water to come into your dry suit, causing you to become wet and cold. A friend a few years back turned me on to these BioSeals, and they are latex-free, very stretchable, and easy to get on. Instead of your dry suit seals forming around your skin, they form around the BioSeals, greatly reducing the risk of leaks and keeping you warm and dry. After I purchased these, I haven't had a leak since. I just put a little talc powder on them, similar to what you would do on the seals of your dry suit, and then you're good to put on your suit. And I bought these years ago before I had a YouTube channel, and I'm not an affiliate with Apollo, so you really know that I love and recommend these. If you found this information helpful and enjoyed the video, then dive down, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and ring that dive bell. And let me know down in the comments if you're thinking about purchasing a dry suit. What questions do you have? If you already have one, which brand do you have and how do you like it? And just over here, YouTube thinks you're really gonna love this video. So check it out, watch it, and help us continue to grow the channel. I'll be back next week with another video, but until then, plan your dive and dive your plans.